Guys, we'll be beginning shortly. Please call all of your friends. The event will start soon.
Hey everyone, can someone please confirm to us in the YouTube chat whether we are visible, whether the slides are visible and we are audible to you? Okay, great. Thank you guys. We'll be starting in a while. Please call all your friends. This would be a very good insight and it would be helpful for your upcoming midsem as well. So make sure you call all your friends and forward the YouTube link to as many freshers groups as you have.
Guys, just call your friends. We'll starting in 10 minutes.
The session will be along an hour long. We'll start soon.
I hope you all are excited. We want this event to reach as many freshers as possible so that all of you gain from it. So invite your friends and we'll start soon.
Okay, guys. So, hello everyone. My name is Naman Jangit and branch representative of the AAA branch. I welcome you all to the insight lecture of the Cepstrum, the student body of the AAA department. Today we have great panel of speakers, including the branch changers and the branch toppers of the various branches. So let's begin with the some general tips. Then we move on to the different courses of the first semester and the second semester. So the first general tip is to form the study groups. That will be very helpful in various situations. As you know, this semester is the hectic semester, very compressed semester. So including the tutorial solutions and for discussing the assignments and all, there is this is very important to form study groups. Okay, and we also need to have friends to very good group to discuss among the solutions and all. And the second is to, if you have deducted the marks somewhere in the answer script, so just write the polite mails to the professors. They will definitely reply you if you write the mails properly. And the sometimes if the marks get deducted and you don't know where the marks deducted, so you can also write mails to the TAs. Okay, and for the all the groups in the Outlook, you can follow. You should follow the all the groups to the inbox for not missing the any information or the important emails. Okay, and also always keep an eye on an average to get about your grades, because on average matters the most in the grades. Okay, and for the resources, there is a Paperman, the initiative of the Cepstrum itself. Here you will find the previous 3 years quizzes, lecture slides, tutorials, and assignments and all. Okay, and for the reference book, you can go to the Libgen link that is here, and we will share the slides after the presentation. Okay, and there are the branch changers cutoff, and the general rule for branch change is not to increase or decrease the strength more than the 10%. And these are the cutoffs of the our year, and this may vary for your year, of course. So the branch change cutoff for CSE is 9.44, and for DSAI is 8.98, and MNC is 8.87, and for EC is 8.34, and triple is 8.1, and for mechanical it's around 7.9 or 8. It's around 8. Okay. Now we discuss about the different courses of the first semester. First of all, we have Gitanjali Mani for covering PH 101.
Good evening, everyone. I am Gitanja Manik from EC branch. I will cover the PH 101 portion as told by Naman. See, in the PH 101, quizzes may go wrong, but don't worry, it's a relative course and don't, but that doesn't mean take quizzes lightly. Quizzes are as important at the midsem and the endsem. Okay, and don't worry, it does not have any match with PH 102. It's quite very different. PH 101 has four parts: calculus, mechanics, STR, and quantum. For calculus parts, it's like just solving and solving part, and that will be used later very much. For mechanics, you have Lagrangian, Hamiltonian that are widely used, but not every time. It is like it will be used, but you have to see where you have to use them and other formulas too. Now coming to the STR part, like STR is for like fun. That doesn't mean if you don't know physics you can't score good in it. STR is basically fun. You can score easily very good in it. You just need to memorize and learn things. And in quantum mechanics, I especially focus that learn whatever taught in the class and slides. In our time, they directly ask the 20 marks question out of 50 from the same slides or they have taught. So memorize the formulas. It is basically all about formulas. And one quick tip and last tip that do tools properly. Every single question should be solved by your hand. That will be very much helpful. Now I will handle this to our branch rank 2, Rishikesh, for each
So, hi guys, as Gitanji introduced, I am Rishikesh and I will be talking about EE101 course. So, this is an 8 credit course. So, if you guys are aiming for branch change, you have to get a good grade in it. By a good grade, I mean at least above 8. It's not that hard to score. The grading is actually pretty good. I scored around 77 out of 100 in this course and I still got a 10. So, getting an above 8 grade is pretty easy. Don't worry, if you score a bit low, most probably the grading will be relative, so it might be the case for everyone. So if you just messed up one of your papers, brush it aside and focus on other exams. And make sure you are attending the lectures regularly. If you want, you can make the notes. It's not necessary though. If the profs are providing the lecture slides and other stuff, I think they will do fine. One thing is, do not miss your tutorials. Pre-tutorial assignments does carry marks. At our time, they contributed like 25% towards our final grade. So basically free marks and you certainly don't want to miss out on it. You can get the solutions of these pre-tutes on Paperman or CourseHub. But yeah, I would recommend solving it yourself first. It will definitely benefit you. Also, the questions asked in exam were similar, like in the similar pattern to the tutorial questions. So make sure you attend your tutes and check out the solutions properly. So talking about how this course is relevant to you, this course actually has a lot of effect on your future courses. Like in your second semester, you guys will have an analog lab in which you will work mainly with transistors and diodes. Will test your semiconductor and transistors part. So make sure you understand that part properly. It will help you later on. And if you are in CSE, MNC, Triple E or EC, you will have a digital design course in the third semester. CSE and MNC guys will have a CS221 course, and EC Triple E will have a W210 course and a W211 lab. So for these all, the digital portion is very important. Also in the W210, which EC and Triple E guys will have, everything in the digital part will be taught from scratch. So what you guys will be learning now, you will also learn it again in the third semester. But you are still recommended to have a good grasp on the basics. Similarly, in the circuit theory and semiconductor and transistors part, things will be taught deeply later on. So talking about the four parts of this course, that is digital design, circuit theory, semiconductor and transistors, and polyphase and magnetic circuits. Two of them will be covered before midsem and two after it. For us, we had circuit theory and digital design before the midsems. Personally, the digital part was actually the easiest one for me, but it depends on what you feel. It was also a bit easier to score as compared to the other three. Basically, you have to know how to use and simplify a K-map and some other basic stuff. Also, there's that channel, YouTube channel Nizo Academy, which is actually a lifesaver. So if you are stuck on some topic and you can't understand it, Nizo Academy might actually help. So make sure you check it out. So I would say that even with a minimal effort, you guys can score pretty well in this part. The second part, that is circuit theory, it is basically practice and practice. You'll have to learn how to get the equations from the circuit, solve the circuits using different methods like Thevenin theorem, Norton theorem, superposition, nodal and mesh analysis, etc. So if you know how to use these methods properly, you are pretty much sorted. You'll also have to use matrices to solve the equations. So make sure you know how to use your calculator for matrix manipulations. This will make your life a lot easier. Again, these all things will be repeated in third sem, so yeah, pay good attention. Polyphase part was actually the toughest one for everyone in general. This might not even come off well in the exams. In our end semester, we got just one question on polyphase, and it was worth 50% of the paper. The questions asked in exams were also a notch higher than what we normally do in the tutes, so you have to practice well for this part. So solve all the PYQs and other questions which you can find. Also, this portion is kind of important in the future for triple E guys. And in the semiconductor and transistors part, you might have to mug up a few things. The graphs, different kind of transistors, their current equations, voltage equations, and other important stuff. This part is also easy. Just make sure you go through all these slides properly, you know what all different kinds of devices you come across, like BJT, diode, operational amplifiers, how are they used. So just pay good attention to the lectures and slides, and I think you will be good. And for the books, I would say reading books and extra stuff will not be very useful for this EE101 course unless you are actually interested in the topics, because the professors are not going in depth of the topics. It's like you are just introduced to the new concepts and expected to solve question based on what was taught. So solving questions and practice, matching up your answers, yes, you can look the books, but for theory, I don't think so. You guys need it right now. Also, you'll get the details of the books, which books to refer on the course structure page. So make sure you visit it. And since they are covering a wide range of topics in a short span of time, the pace of this course is pretty fast. If you don't want to lag behind, you will have to attend all the lectures and tutes regularly. Otherwise, it will be a bit difficult to cover up later on. For the marks distribution, at our time, they were like 2 quizzes of 13 marks each and 12 pre-tutes, each worth 2 marks. That's 24. And then the mid-semester and end-semester exams were 25 marks each. Out of 100, 26 marks were covered through quizzes, 24 marks were covered through pre-tutorial assignments, and 50 marks from mid-semester and end-semester. This marks distribution might be different for you, but still. So I think, yes, that's pretty much from my side for EE101. If you guys have any doubts about this course, ask in the chat. I'll try to take it later. So handing over to Dhanesh, a branch changer from ECE to CSE. He'll continue with another 8 credit course, MA101.
Thank you, Rishikesh. Next slide, please. So, hello Fache, I'm Dhanesh, and I'll be covering the most awaited subject, the dreadful of all, MA101. So, it is one of the hardest, but again, high credit course in this semester, but relative grading to the rescue. In our year, the papers were objective, but still conceptual. So, practice those questions also from the Paperman, even if your papers are subjective. This course, pre-midsem part is usually harder than the post-midsem. In pre-midsem, you will be covering real analysis and single variable calculus. In post-midsem, it will be multivariable calculus. So pre-midsem part is also difficult to score, but the post-midsem is relatively easier to understand and to score also. It is the discretion of the professor to include or not include the pre-midsem part for NSEM. So just be updated with the professor. But even if it is included, it will be of very less weightage. So if the papers are subjective for you guys, practice writing proofs, as that is not something which you have done for JE. So the usability of this course will be a prerequisite for many other courses, especially the post-midsem part. Multivariable calculus will be useful for your PH 102 in next semester and also in many of your core courses. If you are from branches like CSC and MNC, you'll have direct extensions of this MA 101 course in your coming years. And if you are from other branches, also there is a course called MA 201. There also some parts might be useful from this course. And don't worry if your marks are low, as it's a tough course and the average will be much lower than you expect. Like in our year, 70 plus gave an AA. So you don't need to worry if your marks are low. Just be consistent and take every exam seriously. Solving tutorials and class examples are a must if you want good grades. Also do the PYQs thoroughly before the exam, as many of those questions and ideas might be repeated. And coming for the book recommendations, just try to follow the lectures properly. But if you still want to get some more insight on the theory, you might want to go refer Bartle and Sherbert for real analysis part for theory, and for the post-midsem part, Stewart book for calculus for the visualization part. So post-midsem will be mostly about visualization. And these books might be helpful only to cover theory, but to get an hang of the questions, you should practice questions, and that will be you can practice that from the two links that are in the additional resources. The first one is from IIT Kanpur, and it has some very good questions. Many of those questions were repeated in our quizzes also, so you might want to look at those. So this is pretty much about MA 101. Now handing over to Ipsita, who had a AS in CH 101 for CH 101 part. Thank you.
Hello there, everyone. I hope I'm audible. So, I'll be taking for the CH 101 course, Ipsita Jain this side. I would say that this course is very easy and scoring, like pretty much 8 credits for free. So, what I would suggest is just focus on the slides, tutes, and PYQs, and you'll easily get a 10 if you don't make any mistakes in the exams. So, for physical, it is actually quite interesting, the quantum part, and you might find it a bit new, but following the lectures and the tute and PYQ questions would be more than enough. Similarly, for organic and inorganic, they're both extension of JE topics only, so you won't find them very hard to understand. And just make sure you solve each of the tute and PYQ question, and you'll be good to go. Like you should know how to solve each of them. Of course, some of the questions are directly repeated, but some of the questions may have some values or pattern change.
Meanwhile,
So
if
just
anyone
observe
has any doubt, you can ask in the chat box. All the speakers will be here.
yeah. So now handing over to Srishti for CH Lab.
Hey everyone, this is Shrishti here. So for CH Lab, this is a pretty simple. Hey everyone, this is Shrishti here. So for CH Lab, you can easily score a 9 or a perfect 10 grade. Now this is one of the subjects that help you boost your CPI effortlessly. The labs, they are based basically on the class 12th knowledge, and the quizzes and the exams, they are mainly theoretical. Just reading about the different procedures and general theory from the lab manual and going through the PYQs are more than enough to score close to full marks. You can also refer to the previous year experiment videos for a deeper understanding. Do not forget to practice the PYQs, as a lot of questions were repeated in our quizzes and they'll be really helpful. Overall, it's a very easy and a fun subject, and it will go really smoothly. Now I'll hand it over to Manohar. He's a branch changer from engineering physics to the EC department. He'll be talking about the PH110 labs.
Next slide, please. Hey everyone, this is Manohar, and I'm going to tell you about the physics lab, which half of the branches might be having right now. So, physics lab is actually quite fun. It might seem a bit overwhelming at first to complete all the procedure and the report in 3 hours, but then if you watch the videos which are available on the website and read the lab manual beforehand, it would be quite easy. You need to just understand the theory and procedure correctly. You might have a viva, you will have a viva every lab, and the viva would be quite simple. Your TAs would be taking your viva, and you should just read the lab manual well, and you should understand the principles behind the experiment. And you might be just asked about the practical applications which you can easily find out online. And I would also suggest you all to just look at the viva questions online, since these are very common experiments. You can just google up the experiment's name and you will get the viva questions for the experiment online. And make sure that while you write the report, you follow all the instructions clearly. Like you might have been told that write only up to this extent and don't write this part. So follow all those instructions clearly, because sometimes writing something extra or missing out on few things will definitely lead to a reduction in your marks. And also make sure your report is very neat, as neat as possible, and avoid cuttings. And also, the most important part are your calculations. Make sure you are well aware of all the things in your scientific calculator. So you do your calculations, observations correctly, and then your results should also be written very correctly along with the correct units and also the least count. And regarding your main exam would consist of two parts: your quiz, which would be during 1 week before your NSEMs, and your lab NSEM would be separate. The quiz would be quite easy. You just need to go through the formulas and error calculations, and you need to understand the basic terms present in your manual. And in the lab NSEM, it would be one of the six experiments. For us, it was six. I guess since yours is a extended semester by by a couple of weeks, you might have like more than six experiments. But anyway, you will get one out of the experiments you have done in your lab with some small changes. They won't be too tough. Like for instance, in your LCR experiment, when you are doing it in the lab, all your components would be known. But when you do it in the final exam, you might have to find out the value of the resistance. After finding the Q factor, the resistance would be taped. So there would be small variations. So I would suggest you to find out regarding this with the previous batches whose lab exam would already be done before you, to get a knowledge of this. Now I pass it on to Prachi for engineering drawing C101.
Hello everyone, I am Pratisina and I will guide you through the engineering drawing course. So first of all, it is a subject that we should not take lightly because you can score 9 and or even 10 if you keep small points in your mind. First of all, always keep in your mind that your drawing should be very neat and tidy. So erase all the unnecessary lines and the black marks at the end to avoid the reduction of marks. Try not to mix up the shades of the pencil and the type of lines in your sheets, like dotted lines or the solid lines, etc. Because all these mix up will cause the marks reductions. Okay, then follow up your lectures and the slides carefully, because during the quizzes, midsems, endsems, or even in the labs, direct question comes from these lectures and slides. And till the midsem, you have been taught till orthographic predictions, which was relatively an easy portion. But after midsem examinations, the topics that will be taught to you will be very much important, as each topic will act as the foundation for the upcoming topics. So try not to fall back in all those theories. And to learn the lectures and the slides, you may follow the slides, or you may also follow Tinkle Academy, which is the YouTube channel, and it's very helpful and for the last moment preparations. It is also a good habit if you prepare your sheets beforehand, like write your name and draw the boundaries beforehand, and not just in 2 to 3 sheets, like in more than enough sheets. And also ask your TS about your mistakes due to which your marks were reduced, so that you may not repeat those mistakes in upcoming labs or even your exams. Also, try to follow all the conventions and the methods that were taught in the class. Don't try to do something extra or out of the syllabus, because that will not give you some extra marks. And also, don't forget to mark the units and scales properly in the sheets, and draw the arrows very nicely, because for those small arrows, sometimes marks are reducted to a great extent. So yeah, all these things, if you keep in mind, then your CA drawing, then your engineering drawing should go easily. Now I will call Dia for mechanical lab course.
Hi guys, I'm Dia and I'll be giving you an overview of the mechanical lab ME110. Half of you might have it this semester, the other half would have it in the second semester. The mechanical lab is mainly manual work, so that's not much thinking involved. It's very easy to score a good grade. As soon as you get over the fatigue and the sort of tiredness that you get after the lab, it's very much fun, and it's a very easy lab. We had 5 workshops: fitting, carpentry, foundry, welding, and CNC. Pay attention to whatever the instructors are saying and take notes, because most of the Viva questions are based on that. They mainly describe the tools and the job. The fitting, carpentry, and welding workshops have several common tools and procedures, so that's an added advantage. Reports are due after every workshop. There's not much to write, you can keep it short. But in CNC lab, we were asked to describe the whole procedure. You can refer to Cepstrum's Paperman for the reports. And also, we were informed before they had conducted Viva. Do not expect this. Try to be as prepared as possible. It's very simple. So try to just read up on whatever experiment you had completed in the previous experiment shop that you had completed in the previous labs. Once you complete all of the workshops, you will be divided into smaller groups to work on a project for 3 labs. My group had to make a bench in carpentry workshop. If you're unable to complete your jobs, the makeup labs are there to finish up, but I would suggest, if you can, stay back for a half an hour extra and finish your job. That's better, because let's face it, no one wants to go for a makeup lab. One small quiz based similarly like Viva questions based on whatever they say in labs will be conducted. It's very easy, MCQ type. This is one of the most engaging labs, so don't worry about it too much. It's extremely easy to score. Now we will move on towards a small overview of the second sem by Lakshit and Maharsh. Over to you.
Hey everyone, this is Maharsh here. So now we have seen all about first semester, and now we will have a quick overview of what you all should do in your semester break to make your second sem journey simple. So first we start with MA 102. Yes. So the second part of mathematics would be relatively simpler and scoreable. So it would include algebra topics like matrices and determinants and ordinary differential equations. So before the semester starts, make yourself familiar with the matrices and the topic and the types, determinants, different methods to solve system equations, and methods to solve ODEs and how to form ODEs. So basically, this is all which you have studied in your JE. So you have to just revise to have a good hand hold over the course. So next slide, please. Yeah. So next we have ME 101. So this is the mechanics course. This course is divided into 2 parts, the statics and the dynamics. So even this course mainly covers a topic which you have already learned in depth. So to have a good command over the statics, you can revise Newton's laws of motion and the topics associated with it, like the constraint motion and spring problems and wedge problems and so on. Next, you can revise the COM part. And similarly for the dynamics, you can even revise rigid body dynamics, collisions, and the problems related to energy conservation, angular momentum conservation, and so on. Additionally, you can even practice some PYQ problems from Paperman. So trust me, if you just go through this much, then this course would be a cakewalk and it is easy to score an A grade in this. Next slide. Yeah, see, next is our BT 101. So most of you would be wondering why biology is taught to them even after choosing the math stream. But you have no choice. So basically, this course is just introductory biology, so which covers 10th board biology topics. So to have a good hold over this course, you can revise some class 10 topics like cell and its organelles, nutrition, evolution, genetics, sensory organs, and nervous system. Next slide. Okay, so next is our PH 102. So the second part of physics covers two interesting topics, electrodynamics and magnetism. So as a prerequisite for this, you can revisit the notion of electric charge, electric field and potential for a single charge and for a system of charges, dipole, magnetic force and induced voltage, motional EMF, and so on. Means similarly, you can revisit the J magnetism portion. And another important point is that for this course, you need to have a good hold over the vectors and its properties, like the dot products and cross products. And secondly, you have been taught the coordinate transformations in your PH 101. So make sure that you study that thoroughly because in PH 102, you will require that a lot. Because in exams, the questions would be simple. That's you would know that which formula to apply, but the main thing would be how to apply that. Means which coordinate transformation should be used, where to apply the which vector topics, and so on because that would make the question relatively simple. So what matters is not to solve the question, but what should be your approach to solve the question. So now I hand it over to Lakshit to cover the remaining topics.
Hello everyone, I am Lakshit Setia. I'm from EC branch and I'll be telling you about remaining second semester courses. First of all, we have CS 101. This course is mainly focused on C programming language in the pre-midsem portion and some basic data structures in the later half. Basically, if you know a little bit of programming, any programming language in general, this course is pretty chill overall. So I would recommend you to learn C++ beforehand. That will make this course like pretty easy. And the data structures and basic algorithms which you'll learn in this course will also help you in your future coding endeavors. So do study this course properly and it will be an easy course. Next slide, please. Next up, we have CS 110. This is a lab course, which is a direct application of CS 101 course. It is held in CCC, which is just opposite to the library. And this is the easiest lab you'll have in all of first year. You just need to have a little grasp on C++, C, and if you solve some problems on HackerRank, this course is pretty chill. So next slide, please. Next up, we have E102 lab. This is electronics lab, and for this course, for this lab, E101 is pretty important. It is a direct application of E101, and you must know all the concepts of the analog part of E101. So do study E101. That will make this course easy. And also, this course depends on the equipment. If you have good equipment, you'll get the results pretty quick. So this course mainly is about E101 and equipments you have. Next slide. So now we'll take a break. We have covered all the first semester courses and second semester courses. We'll like to have your doubts. Please write your doubts in the comment section.
Someone has asked, is branch change difficult for an average student? No, it's not. If you are consistent, anyone can branch change.
And also, someone has asked, has anyone changed their branch from BSB to EC Triple E? Yes.
Someone has asked any YouTube channel for MA 101. So basically, these topics that we have been taught, like you won't find the exact things in YouTube channel. Those will only be in books. That's why I told try to understand from the prof's lecture. But you can search for certain topics, and I guess Gajendra Purohit YouTube channel covers some of them. But you won't find the exact same full course in YouTube.
Someone has asked how many marks average required in labs. Actually, the labs mainly the lab work that is there, you're all doing it together. The only deciding factors are the quizzes or the exams, written exams that they conduct, if at all. So pay attention to that. Try to get above uh, more than other people, at least above average in that, and you should be good for the labs. हर किसी का एक लैब मैसअप हो ही जाता है, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Is midsem syllabus portion included in the nsem? That totally depends on your prof. In most subjects, it won't be included, but yeah, again, it depends on your prof. In some subjects, it's definitely included. So, like, you would have been given an instruction earlier. If you are still not clear, you can ask your prof once again or just discuss it with your friends. Do they take best 8 out of 10 in C101? No such instruction was given during our time, but maybe if you are given an instruction that 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 will be taken, then that would be the case for you, but no such instruction was there in our case. And like out of 100, somebody was asking out of 100, how much do we require in the labs? Like for your lab is offline, so we cannot clearly tell you about that. But during our time, the average was also quite high. It also depends on your tutorial group. Some tutorial group, the TAs were lenient and the average was in the 90s, and for some groups it was in the 80s. So it all depends on your tutorial group. In our time, for a 10, the overall score, like including your tutorials, midsem and ensem, everything together, like taking the averages and all, it was above 90 for a 10 pointer in C. So when to do coding, like you are in your first sem right now, so if you are totally interested in coding, you can just continue that during your free time. But like, yeah, I mean, now, like, try to do it in your semester break. Like you can more devote more time during your semester break, and it would help you also during your CS 101 in the next semester. Has anyone branch changed from EP to BSB? Not really. Like I don't think people would prefer that. Can we
Uh,
pro?
who checks midsem and endsem papers? Midsem, I guess mostly TS, but endsem usually the course instructors themselves check the papers.
You want to clarify some doubts? How can you contact us? In the slides, our contacts will be provided. You can contact us later on if you have anything to ask separately. Else, you can just ask it in the comment section right now. We can answer.
Someone has asked, is preparing C++ language so necessary before CS 101? It is better if you know it before CS 101, but usually in the course they start from the basics. So even if you won't do and if you follow the lectures, it won't be a problem. But it's better to start some coding before that CS 101 itself.
The CS course is actually quite fast paced, so it's better if you have a general idea of it first. If you know Java, you should be able to follow the logics quite well enough. I don't think it's necessary because only syntax changes.
I hope most of you have seen Paperman. Like it contains almost all the resources you would be requiring to like perform better in your exams. Honestly, to say for me to get a very good CPI, Paperman really helped a lot. So we have organized Paperman in a very nice way. You can get all the PYQs and all the materials. In fact, we have taken up some reference materials from like other colleges and put it in the Paperman so that like which would help you in your exams. Like some questions during our time came directly from papers from this UCL or MIT Open Courseware and all. So we have taken some of those and put it in Paperman too. So like you should definitely go through Paperman and explore whatever content is available in that so that you can just get an idea and you can practice more and more questions. There are a lot of questions available in Paperman. So I hope you all just go through that. Can we provide marks in correspondence to CPI? It might be very, very different for you than it was for us. So I don't think that would be really very helpful. For maybe the second semester, if we provide you, it might be helpful. But like I don't think it would be very, very helpful for the first semester. But yeah, I suggest you just check up the average of the course. It would be with your TAs in almost all the subjects, and you can just discuss it with your friends and check the top score, and you yourself can predict that this might be the average and try to stay above that mark so that it might help you all.
Yes, knowing Java is okay for CS 101. Only the syntax changes. The underlying logic is the same, so it should be fine.
Is CSC a good branch, man? Of course. You see, it has the highest cutoff for branch change and all, and it has the highest cutoff in JE. So why is it not a good branch? It is a good branch.
Are there any further doubts? Please type it in the chat box. We are happy to answer them. The books that you can follow for PH 101 are given in Paperman. You can check out the link first. PYQs and tunes a are good preparation, but of course books are a better preparation. But try to manage your time accordingly.
What
8 plus
CP?
CPI should be a good option. Manohar, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess 8 plus should be fine. It depends on where you want to go. Like if you want to get a branch change, you just see the cutoffs. That would be a good CPI for you. But in general, 8 plus is a decent enough CPI.
Study
But
hours,
yeah,
I don't think any of us can specify. It depends upon how much you can learn in what amount of time. But make
see,
sure you're getting the right
It's
marks.
quality that matters more than
yeah,
Yeah,
quantity,
definitely.
always.
Hmm.
just make sure that you are getting the proper marks that you should be getting for your desired CPI. If you're not, then put in more effort.
How an ideal day of us should go? Like there are no ideal days, man. Some days you'll sit and study like there is no tomorrow, and some days you might not have any mood to study. I'd say just try to be as consistent as possible. You're not a machine, so don't try to be like put in all your time in studies, I'd say, but study as much as possible. Be consistent, solve the tutorials, There is no need to burn whole midnight oil just to study. So give your time for other things too, but study consistently and it will definitely give you a very good CPI. And I'd say it's not necessary to study whole day. It is not at all. And it is not advisable also. But study consistently, that's it.
After scoring very low marks in first quiz, can I change my branch? I think you
Of
can.
course. Yeah.
It's just,
My score in my
Toughest,
first. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can
Danish
answer
can also.
this.
Yeah.
My MA 101 quiz one was very low than average, but still I changed my branch. So I guess you can. You just need to take it seriously. Sometimes some
Yeah.
exams might go bad.
Yeah,
Yes.
sometimes some exams are a bit messed up, but you can just cover it up, so don't really worry about that.
we cannot predict subject-wise marks to get a 10 grade point because your papers are different and your evaluation is also slightly different as we had an online semester. So please excuse us for that. And all of the people who are asking for books, we have shared the links to Paperman. You can refer to the reference material over there. Any further doubts, you can always DM any one of us.
How to make up for bad score in one C lab? Don't just worry too much about it.
Yeah.
Like, do better in the other labs and see that's done. You cannot change it. So do better in the other labs and also try to focus mainly on the midsum and ensem. Like midsum would be very simple in C101 if you study a bit. So that might just boost your score. So just work good for the midsum and ensem.
The credit system of IIT AS grade is a 10 grade point is given to the best of the best in the course. AA is also a 10 grade point given to the next best. The people who have received AS grade will not be, their marks are not considered for relative grading. After that, AA, AB, BB, BC and all that continues as 10, 9, 8, 7 and all that. But you can probably Google this in one of the IITG's exact official websites. I'm not sure. Can an EP student do minor in CSC? I think you can.
Yeah, you can.
Only I believe MNC is not allowed a CS minor, I guess, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, yeah. You cannot do a minor in your branch, and MNC people cannot do a minor in CSC. And there are some restrictions like this, like mechanical people can't do RA or something like that. You can just read regarding these in the ordinances. You can go to BTech ordinance. You can just Google BTech ordinance IITG, and you can find these details regarding credits, regarding minors, and all.
Is attending lectures necessary for all courses? If you have an attendance criteria, try to attend it, but it depends upon how much you learn in that lecture. Try to attend as many as possible.
Yeah, we had this problem during our time too, where C101 the marking was not consistent. Like in some tutorial groups, it was in the 90s, and some it was in the 80s, as I told. Um, I don't know. Is there a solution to this? Can someone suggest something?
I guess the grading was within the tutorial group. Relative grading was within the tutorial group for our year. I don't know what it is for your year, but if it is within the tutorial group, it won't be a problem.
You can ask your TA for the same, that
Yeah,
how
you
is the
can ask
grading
your
they
TA.
want.
Uh, which minor is more preferable for an EP student? It's according to your interests. We can't exactly predict. What do you think you want to study? Don't go by what looks good. Try to think about your interests also first.
Approx how many students out of total get 9 plus CPI in first year? Not pretty sure. We don't have any official stats regarding these. Like maybe we should have done a count, but we didn't do it. So yeah, we can't surely tell it.
Yes, a separate minor talk will be conducted. If you
Yeah.
want the immediate assessment, minor talk is also uploaded in our YouTube channel. You can check out the minor talk they had for our year. It should give you some idea beforehand.
So do we have any more doubts? What's the minimum CPI for a mech student to branch change to triple E? You'll have the cutoffs in this PDF. You'll get those. So don't worry.
Um, Sandesh, we do think that EC is the toughest branch, but of course other branches will disagree. It depends.
Okay, guys, we'd be closing this session. So we'd have the contacts of the speakers in this PDF, which will be shared to you over email. So if you have any further doubts, you can contact any of the speakers. So we hope you had a very good session and we could give you some good insights into your semester and how you should be progressing towards your exams. We wish all of you all the best for your mid semesters and just keep rocking.
Thank you all for listening in. All the best for your mid-semester examinations.
So, guys, we have the official hoodies for the winter year. The Cepstrum official hoodies are launching, and here are the designs for you. These are only for rupees 599, and you can buy it. The links will be circulated soon. The two designs are Wave Archer and Perception. Check it out and do buy it. These are really cool and really comfortable, and you would really want to rock your winters with this.
So I'll be concluding this session now. Hope you got so many insights from your seniors. If you have any further doubts, you can contact your seniors. We'll share the contact details of everyone. And do maintain a healthy lifestyle in the college. And don't give up irrespective of your marks you're getting right now. Just stay consistent and focus on your studies and do manage the extracurricular activities well. Try to get involved in new clubs, explore your interests, and wish you the best. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'll just answer that last question. CPI needed for minor CSC, most likely 9.5 plus. And what is safe CPI for branch change into MNC CSC? DC, again, it's above 9. All of those are above 9. We've shared all the branch change cutoffs. You can take a look at it once the PPT is circulated via email. Thank you all.
And there are also the contact numbers of all the speakers, so you can DM and contact them for any queries. Thank you everyone for joining.